Reimagining Success, episode 245. You're listening to the Reimagining Success podcast, where we help you design a business and a life that allows you freedom from the 9 to 5. I'm your host, Anna Lundberg, ex-corporate good girl, now a business mentor and coach, author, mum of 2, and I'm here to help you create more freedom, flexibility and fulfillment. Now let's get started with redefining success outside of the 9 to 5. Hello, welcome back to the podcast. My name is Anna Lundberg and we are into July, which means we're into the second half of this year. And that means I don't do this every year, but this year I am back for a mid-year review. And this will double up a little bit as a quarterly review as well. Depending on how clear and strategic you've been this year so far, you can be very robust in, of course, checking how you've done against those goals and that plan, or you can do a bit more of a sense check of where you are. Now, I talk so often about why this is important, and hopefully because you're listening to this, you agree with me and you're bought into this already. But, you know, some years, a couple come to mind. 2018, I had 3 big goals that, by the way, I tried to do all at once, and then I realised that wasn't such a good idea, and I spread them out over the year, and I focused single-mindedly on one at a time. But 2018, I wanted to launch my first group program. I wanted to write and publish my book. I know, you can already hear it's a bit ambitious. And just to make matters worse, I wanted to launch my podcast as well. Now, since you're listening to this, you know that I did launch my podcast. And in fact, I launched it just in time, December 2018. I launched my first group program, which is now the Business Incubator. In February 2018 was the first cohort at that time. And I published my first book, Leaving a Corporate 9 to 5, September that year. But that was a big year for me. I had 3 really clear goals and I achieved them. Last year, 2022, was also a big year. And I only had the one goal because I learned my lesson. And I only work 3 days a week and I have the kiddos now. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, in case you don't know that. And last year I had the book, my second book, Outside the 9 to 5. So many books, I just don't remember what they're called. Outside the 9 to 5, which I launched in December. So again, right at the end of the year, but there you go. It was a soft launch, and then I had the proper big hoopla, if you can call it that, this year in 2023. So there are some years when you have a really clear intention, and those years are the big years when you really achieve something big. That's just guaranteed. You know, there are all sorts of stats on people who make New Year's resolutions and how few people achieve them and so on. But you have to have a goal in order to achieve it. That's just a given. Some years are a little bit more sort of fly by the seat of your pants, just kind of go with the flow, and that's okay. And I'm going to be honest, this year is a little bit like that for me. It's sort of seasonal for me, a little bit roller coastery, although intentional, because if I have a big year one focus, it's quite nice to have a bit more of a kind of consolidation. Maybe one year is, right, I'm going to really sign up, I'm going to invest in this big, I've done this before as well, mentoring program, really go hard, follow this expert that I'm working with. And then the next year is probably consolidation, maybe not working with a coach that year, maybe more implementing what you've learned and so on. So there is really sort of a seasonality to this. But if you are looking, and we talked last month about the big breakthrough, if you're looking for that big breakthrough, then you need to get clear on what that breakthrough is, and you need to have a plan to achieve it. So having that goal is pretty important. Now, if we're looking back, first of all, and you might want to grab a pen and a paper, you can, of course, pause me as and when you want to, or you can just listen, let my words wash over you and come back to it later, if maybe you're driving or running or whatever it is you're doing right now. If you look back over the last 6 months, if you did, of course, again, have a clear plan with goals, then you can see are you now on track or off track? So if you've got into, as I hope you have, but don't worry if you haven't, I'll help you. If you have financial targets for every month this year so far, you can very easily see, okay, on track, off track. Now, it might feel like if, you've only just started looking at this now, you set yourself goals and you haven't really looked at them since, 6 months have passed, you're totally off track, then yes, obviously we need to adjust our course for the rest of the year. But don't feel like, there's no point now, I'm just going to give up because I've not hit it, so I'm not going to hit my 2023 target. First of all, you can absolutely shift things around and make things happen. And secondly, that attitude doesn't help anyone, right? So even if, let's say, and I'm making up just for the numbers, I mean, it's 120k is just a round number, isn't it? Because then it's 10k a month, let's say, just arbitrarily. If you haven't made any money, worst case scenario, the last 6 months even, then obviously suddenly you're going to have to hit 20k months the next 6 months. And if you're starting at 0, that's probably not realistic. You need to be ramping up. But if you now give up entirely, pull back from all your actions and don't do anything, you're just delaying your results by an additional 6 months. So it's just a little bit of mindset of don't be hard on yourself. There are reasons why you haven't hit your goals. Maybe you didn't have the support in place. Maybe personal things have been happening. Work has been busy. There have been illnesses and so on, right? There's no point in being annoyed at yourself now. Just take a breath, show yourself some compassion, and just, if you do want different results, commit now to making different things happen, taking different action. So maybe you haven't got clear goals in place, in which case you can do more of a sense check. I'm feeling really off track now. I'm going to set clear goals for the next 6 months. And if you did have really clear goals, you can do a really more concrete, tangible check of where you are. So a few questions that you want to be asking yourself, high level. Of course, what is your actual versus your target revenue? So that's, the 10K that you put per month or whatever it is. Again, if you're starting from 0, maybe the first month is, 500 for your first client. The second month is 1,000. The third month is 2,000, whatever that looks like. And don't take these numbers. It's completely made up on the spot. So what's your actual versus your target revenue? What are your wins? And this could be income related. It could be, your first client, your first 10 clients. It could be getting your first media coverage, doing your first keynote talk, running your first webinar, and whatever it is, right? What's your win? Publishing a book, launching a podcast, depending where you are in the business. And then the other side of the coin, what are your lessons learned? So maybe you're too ambitious in your goals that you set. Maybe you need to start prepping earlier for a launch that you did, or maybe you need to be reaching out to more people to hit the numbers. You're just not getting enough people, whatever that is, right? What are your lessons learned? And then finally, what do you want to stop, start, continue? We did this in my corporate days. What do you need to stop doing? And it could be, chasing after shiny objects, or it could be that you've been following some rubbish strategy of like jumping into people and spamming them in their Facebook groups or whatever it is, that just isn't working. Don't want to be doing. It's just taking lots of time. It's not very nice. And you want to stop doing that. What do you want to start doing? So that's new strategies. I want to start pitching the media. I want to start working on my group program. I want to, whatever it is, right? Start working on elevating my personal brand. Obviously, the more specific you can be, the better. And then what do you want to continue doing? So things that either it's too soon to tell if they're working, or they are working. You've got the basics in place. It's been going really well and you want to continue. You need to continue doing that. So what do you want to stop, start and continue? So that's reviewing the last either quarter. I like to do this quarterly, or because we're halfway through the year, you can do it now for the last 6 months if you haven't already. Actual versus target revenue, wins, lessons learned, and what do you want to stop, start, continue. Pause if you want to and have a go at doing that exercise. Again, if you just want to listen, then you can keep going. Or if you've done that, well done. Don't be hard on yourself if you haven't hit your goals and so on. Hopefully you're getting some insights now that can change things up for you. And if you have hit your targets and exceeded them, amazing. Congratulations. That's so exciting. So looking ahead, of course, we want to set another target revenue for the next quarter, and if you want, for the next 6 months as well. By the way, my tax year goes from April to April to March is the 12 months later. So what am I? I am now just 1 quarter into my year. So, it depends on how that works. I also sometimes do calendar years. It's nice to do both. Some people do, September start because that's kind of the back to school era. So whatever works for you. It's arbitrary, all of it, right? Human beings have just made up these calendars. So, but nonetheless, quarters, I think, work really well because 90 days is a really good period to take action and to see results. So let's say we're looking for the next quarter. What's your target revenue for the next 3 months? What's your big priority for this quarter? So is it launching your program? Is it getting your website up if that's a new thing? Is it, revising your business model, clarifying your positioning, whatever it is, getting your XYZ materials together? Is it, growing your network on LinkedIn? What's your priority for the quarter? And then what's the number one thing that will make the biggest difference? So if you're launching your group program, let's say, what's the biggest thing? What is it that you really absolutely have to do that? Is it having conversations with people? Is it, reaching out to your warm leads that you had in the past? Is it, really nurturing your email list or your group or whatever it is, what's the one thing out of all the hundreds of things that you think you need to be doing, what's the one thing that will make the biggest difference? So you've got your big priority, you've got your one thing. Then what are your monthly milestones? So you've got July, August, September. Again, if you want to do this for the year, by all means, but obviously we lose control after a few months. So I'd say start with July, August, September. And of course, it's a bit of a funny period. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, because I know some of you are listening down under, I don't know why I did like an American twang for that. I won't attempt an Australian or a New Zealand accent. August here, at least in Europe in particular, is a holiday month, right? Personally, I've got a week off in July with the family, a week off in August, actually 2 weeks off in August. So it does, it's easy to feel like, there's not a lot going on. So that could be your priority as well, right? To take a step back. We try to dial back content and so on. I've sometimes, pushed and done the same amount, but I think it's important that I role model that I'm also taking time off. And I don't want you to think that I'm posting manically while I'm away, because that's not the case. It's all scheduled, or my assistant is doing it for me. So that could be the case for you if you got time off. Then obviously the time off could be a priority, family time. And it could be that, you don't have any clients right now, and that's okay. It's on purpose because they're all off. And so, your corporates are off on holiday. Italy, I think, shuts down entirely, France in August. So you can do some of the back end stuff, the operations, the website tweaks, financials, admin stuff, right? All the back end automations, review your systems, whatever. September's a bit of back to school. And this year, for the first time, I have a child who is starting school. The first couple of weeks, she's only part-time, so that'll be interesting. But at the same time, that's a change for me. After the holidays, maybe your clients are coming back with their kids to school as well. It is a big time for corporate after the summer break as well. So if you're B2B, and so, September, it could be a funny quarter where July, August a bit slower, and then September's really big. So maybe now the priority in July is to kind of close the deals with the companies you're working with so that you're ready for September. Have conversations with your individual clients and prospects now, again, so that they can reflect, or you sort of get a deposit maybe now to get started in September, whatever it is, right? But it's just thinking about the different months. You're not necessarily going to make, let's say, those 10K every month, January to December, right? It could be that you make 30K in September, since we're using these arbitrary numbers, and nothing in August, who knows? So it's looking ahead of that. So target revenue for the quarter, priority, number one thing that will make the biggest difference, and your monthly milestones, and then actions each month. And then finally, I, of course, like to build my business holistically. If you know me at all, you may know my 5 L's model: live, love, learn, lead, laugh. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to onestepoutside.com/success, onestepoutside.com/success, and you can read about the 5 L's model, and you can download an assessment where you can answer some questions to see how you're doing on each of these areas. But in a nutshell, and as a reminder, live is your wellness, your health and well-being. Love, relationships, belonging. Learn, personal, professional development and growth. Lead, which is it for us, our business, possibly also a day job if you're still in corporate. And laugh, fun and spontaneity, which hopefully is a big one for July and August in particular. But really sit down and think, okay, I know a couple of you have started working with a personal trainer, in some cases someone I've recommended. So let me know if you want a recommendation. I've got a great one that I work with, or if you're training for a marathon or whatever it is. And maybe you want to introduce date night with your partner, or again, this is going to be really being present with your family over the summer break. That's for the love relationships. You want to do some volunteering in your community. It's not just love. It's not just family. It's also that broader community and your peer group and so on. Learn. I'm doing or hopefully finishing soon, my organizational psychology course online. I'm also doing another program, and I'm doing racquetball and tennis coaching, if that counts as well. I think it does. And that hits a few different blocks because it's fun, it's learning, and it's wellness as well. Well-being. Live, love, learn, lead, your business goals, career goals, of course, and then laugh. What's your fun and spontaneity goal? I know it's weird to have a goal in fun and spontaneity, but there you go. It's important to have that there as well. So I know that's gone quickly, 10, 15 minutes of reviewing. But again, of course, you can pause and hopefully you have done, or you can go back and listen. Don't just, go, oh, okay, that's interesting, and move on. Please, if you're not doing this already, obviously, if you've got your own methodology, by the way, I'd love to hear about it because I'm such a geek when it comes to these things. So if you have something that I haven't talked about today that's really useful for you, obviously, I've only kind of dipped my toes in it today. But really looking, of course, at your revenue goals, but also wins and lessons learned, lessons learned. Stop, start, continue is really helpful. And then looking ahead as well and thinking about the different months and tailoring it to that. And in particular, thinking about those holistic 5Ls as well. If you do want support with this, of course, this in much bigger detail and much more sort of a longer period of time that we do this together. And we do, of course, this quarterly review and annual review in the business incubator that I talked about a few weeks ago. So if you want to learn more about that and apply, you can go to onestepoutside.com/grow. That's onestepoutside.com/grow. But I hope that was valuable. It may be basic for those of you who have been doing this for many years and so on, but I think we need a reminder, and it's good to hear again about different approaches. There might be something there that you haven't done before. The 5Ls is something obviously that's my own eyepiece. It's something no one else does. And the stop, start, continue might be new to you if you don't come from the same corporate background as me. So I hope that was insightful for you. I hope you are feeling good about your results the last few months. And if not, I hope you're certainly feeling good about your goals for the coming months and what you're going to do differently to make it happen. Best of luck, and hope to speak to you soon. Bye for now. There is so much incredible information out there that's going to help you build and grow your business. However, what is missing from all this is the personalized feedback, support with troubleshooting, and tailored guidance that's really designed to help you in your particular situation with your specific challenges. Introducing the Business Incubator, a mentoring program focused on exactly that: implementation, support and accountability to help experienced corporate professionals like you grow your expert business faster without sacrificing your personal life to do so. You'll get expert guidance and personal feedback to help you focus on the right things at the right time, comprehensive training materials and frameworks to support you, but above all, you will get weekly structure and accountability to help you identify your priorities, stay focused and review your progress. And you'll get a supportive community of people who get it, who are going to cheer you on and share their lessons learned. So this is a really unique hybrid program that gives you the intimacy of one-to-one support, the training, frameworks and structure of a course, and that community element of a group program. You can read more and apply now at onestepoutside.com/grow. That's onestepoutside.com/grow.